want this one. Okay, what can you see now? Are you seeing a calendar?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right, let's see. Now, what do you see? Where's my abacus? I feel so
Well,
like here.
that's the problem. We can't.
Can I not look while
Outside
you're?
the cloud.
Oh,
You're
well,
outside
no,
the
I'm.
cloud.
Am I outside the cloud?
This is
Yeah.
another problem that we have. That was probably going
Oh,
to be
but
discussed.
Elaine, I think you can show it in the go into the cloud.
Yes, I am in the cloud. That's what I'm doing right now. But I've got like 5 windows open for preparation to share these screens, and I'm just trying to click on the correct one. Okay, so now do you see, what do you guys see now? Do you see
Outlook.
Abacus?
Outlook.
You see Outlook? What the hell? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh. Okay, because then let me move this over here. Okay, what do you see now?
There we go.
Abacus.
Okay, there. Abacus is Abacus Data 3. Are you there with
Right.
me, Greg?
Yes.
Okay, so now, for example, Patricia, will have run a report, and I'm getting ready to click this over to the screen so you can see it. See this report?
Yes.
Are you? And it says, see how it says the PC number 2014-0985.
Mhm.
When she generates the report, she is able to capture, you see column C?
Yep.
Where it says the unique identifier? So then that one, what I have to do for each of these, however many records I've got, I have that AA000G lowercase w. So then I have that, that's the unique identifier for that particular provider complaint. And I know to put an
it's
M.
the unique identifier for where we find the
Exactly.
email.
Right, yeah, this is what I'm talking about right now. And
Right.
so you see where you've got the M, so I have to put an M in front of that, Greg. And then what's going to happen is I'm then going to go into Abacus, and I can access that through, you know how Patricia told you that there was the separate folders. Do you see, what do you see now? Do you see where it says corporate drive, Abacus, email, data 3?
Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so then what I would have to do is I have to type in that unique identifier that you'd seen that was on the screen earlier, the AA00G lowercase w. I have to go in there and put that under where it says search data 03, add the M, hit search, and then it's going to help me find that particular folder.
Can
Then
you
once
just
I'm-
do that, Elaine? Can you
Sure.
actually do that on the screen?
I think so. Let me go. Let me type it in so you guys can see
everyone
it work.
can see it.
Sure. MAA000G W. And then it's going to search.
And it's case sensitive, so you have
exactly.
To make
so
sure
that's
you
why
do
I said
it
it said
right.
uppercase G, lowercase w. And then it's going to whirligig around. But see, now you know what? Since I've already deleted these, it's probably not going to show up, Lisa.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is where the ones that deleted.
So
So in theory,
idea.
Yeah, exactly. Because you see now what it pulls up. So let's just pretend that, see that one, the first one that's highlighted there that's ending in 2662. Let's just pretend that that was the one. Then if that was the one, then I've got to right click on it and I go to properties. And then you see, I take the number where it says size on disk. And then I would put that in the spreadsheet that I showed you a moment ago. And then that one then has been sufficiently recorded. And so then I go to the next one. And so then that process repeats.
So are you deleting that right there, or are you just recording?
No, I'm not.
Size?
No, I can't. It's not ready for deletion yet. No. Then I have to go through all of these things. Like now I've brought back the spreadsheet. And so I will do that. In this one, there was like 1,006 times or something. I did that. And then as you can see on the spreadsheet there, if I scroll over, you see where I've taken the totals, like the email size. That's where I have gone through it each time and written down whether it was either in kilobytes or, as you can see there, if it was larger, it was megabytes. And so that's the process that I have to do, where it says under the columns email size in columns N and O. And so then once I do all that, then at that point I'm recording my totals. And then I still don't delete, because I have to go through the process of the doc size, which that's where I go to a different location and get the totals for the size that the space that they took up. And then once I do all of that, then I total the two. And then you go down there, keep scrolling, sorry. Then there you get the totals. And then after I've got all that recorded, then I send it to Lisa and they all look at it and give it thumbs up. And then after that, then I go through and delete and then submit the certificate of destruction to records management.
Yeah, so I think to synthesize, when we're looking at an automation of this process, we'll want to see the size of the documents and the emails. That way we can just go through and get the proper authorization before we execute any mass deletion.
Yeah,
And-
that was helpful for sure.
And forgive me, Elaine, it's been a minute since I've done a certificate of destruction authorization, however you call it. You really only need the total, correct?
Right. Yes, that's all I need. And so on that
the size per document, that's just
no, but just to arrive at the totals, that's what I've had to. No, they don't really care about the individuals. They just want to know the grand total.
Yeah. So we wouldn't need to see, we just record we have, 500 documents within this range and this is the size, or 500 files.
Yeah, if there was some way, that it could be summed up, yes.
So it doesn't need to be to this granular level.
No, just the
Now,
granular
the other
level.
thing, I had a question, Jenica, is does General Services really need that information, or was it something that somebody went, oh yeah, it would be nice to know how much new space we've got?
It's on the hard.
Well, it's written
it's-
for a paper file. I mean, right now it is required. That is
But my issue is, I know it's required, but is there a way to make it unrequired? And then maybe do something like, okay, before we deleted all the 2014 files, we were using X amount of space in our, database. And after we deleted them, it was Y amount of space. That's just something to throw out to General Services too.
Yeah, it is. They're still, y'all are light years ahead of most organizations. Everybody's still trying to move their stuff from paper to electronic. And I would venture to say you're the first division and we're the first department that's trying to delete everything that's electronic. So, I mean, you're absolutely right, Patricia. I don't know that we would get there in time.
Mhm.
So I had a question. So to kind of go on what Patricia said. Is that audited? So let's say one of those files, one of those emails, you put 5.1 instead of 1.1. Is it then looked at overall?
No.
No.
It's really just put on file. If there were an issue, this is due to our Open Records Act, really. If somebody were to question the how TennCare oversight is removing documents, we have to document that we've done this and when we did it, just to kind of cover us legally that we didn't
willy-nilly
go
just
into the middle of
destroy
the night
things.
and destroy things that we didn't want someone to see.
Okay.
And at least with the paper records that we used to maintain, and we had to, say we put so many cubic feet of records in storage, or we deleted so many cubic feet of records. I don't know. I think that whoever they are, they were supposed to use that information for estimating costs. How much is it costing to maintain records, to store records? What costs were saved by deleting all of these records. So, I don't know if the idea is, well, regardless of whether it's paper or electronic, we still need to capture this information. Yeah. Who knows?
And it would be interesting to know what other states, other governmental entities that have a records retention requirements, and I'm sure most, if not all, do, how do they account for that in the cloud, or has anybody been on it long enough for it to be really developed? Are we the first? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because we've been the first on a bunch of stuff.
I couldn't speak to any other government agencies, how they do it, but kind of from an somewhat outside perspective, yeah, if you didn't have to fill out that spreadsheet and you could just look at the properties before you did it and then look at the properties after you did it, that would
be really nice.
really limit the amount of time. It's there. We still have to figure out on our end the automation of searching and deleting and making that a smoother process. But that would eliminate one aspect of it. So I'll take it back to the professional service team just to see if they've had this before in a situation like this and see it's been done in the past, or if not, what can be done? What are the options to really, because just seeing that and going through that, yeah, it does look take a long time.
Yeah. Mind numbing.
Yeah.
Right.
And Elaine, could you tell him then how once we gather the information we're supposed to gather, then the process you go through for actually then deleting the documents and the record and the emails?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, we also there was a would you call it an application that Abacus gave us access to called Tree Size Free. Does that sound right? So that's the application that I then use to navigate to the Abacus records, and that's where I go to delete. So it's again, there's also the actual touching of each item that I have to go to that matter to actually delete, because I can't, there's no way to do a grouping as such.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Yes, I'll absolutely take all this away, and it's good that it's recorded as well. That figure out a solution.
Hey,
going forward.
Patricia and Lisa, would it be helpful? You know how we wrote up those procedures?
Yeah, we've got a guide for that, how we do it, that we could send to you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking that might be helpful.
We can, show you the guide and the report, because Elaine and Lisa and I spent a lot of time coming up with the guide on how to do it to make sure we were capturing what needed to be captured. Talk about tedious,
But it was very much the step by step, because this is so cumbersome, and there are so many steps involved. It's like we have to write this down. So if all of us get hit by a bus tomorrow, somebody's going to have to pick it up and come behind us. And so,
oh my.
So we wrote it step by step by step.
It's the Mack truck theory of management, which is assume you're going to get run over by a Mack truck and somebody else needs the direction.
Every time I hear that phrase, it's happened in our department and we don't like to talk about it.
Don't talk about Bruno.
Or the more likely scenario, we all retire at the same time and walk out the door.
Yeah, that is a very likely scenario with your division.
Lisa and I are both eligible to retire. So
been eligible to retire, yeah.
So
why do you think we're having this meeting? I don't want to kick you. I don't want
to. I would say, so if that happened, so let's say there was no book, there was no guide, and you all retired, what's today, Wednesday? You all retired Friday, and the next people came in, they just didn't log the spreadsheet as much. Would that be like, would the team that overlooks that be like, look at it differently and be like, oh, maybe we don't need this anymore? Like, would that be a thought by them or
No,
no?
we would have
Okay.
legal tell
Legal would be
them
breathing
how.
down. Yeah, they would
Okay.
be saying you need to have something. Of course, it wouldn't be our problem anymore because we'd be gone. But you know,
Yeah.
And then I would be here having this meeting again with a whole new set of people because that happens too.
and have to recreate the wheel. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be bad.
Yeah. Okay. I've just seen it in other instances where someone leaves a company and then whatever report or whatever they were doing,
It just
it
stopped being
getting
needed.
produced.
Yeah.
And then the other people they don't ask the question anymore, and it's just they just
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah.
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 What I would guess would happen in our situation is that it's just like, oh, those records are just fine staying there.
Yeah,
We won't
they would
need
just
to delete
stay.
this. And
They would just
keep
stay.
growing and growing.
Right.
Because that's what happened with our paper records.
That's exactly what
That's
happened.
exactly what happened. There was, when I came on, whenever it was I came on prior to that, there was a huge room. What would that be? Maybe about 300 square feet of space that was filled from floor to ceiling of boxes that never got recorded. And so then when I came in, that was the process where we had to first identify records, record the records, tabulate the records, and destroy the records. And that was what I was in charge of.
Yeah. And so now that we have dealt with our paper records,
Yes.
it's a big goal of mine that we get a handle on our electronic records as well.
Yeah.
Because unlike many other divisions and state departments, because of what we do, my particular division does, we are often involved in litigation, and there are big, records discovery requests and, all of this stuff. And if we hadn't held on to records forever, we wouldn't have had to search all of them and then produce them. So we're trying to just get cleaned up and really get on a schedule of, we're having to clean up all the old stuff and then going forward be current in our record retention.
Right.
And freeing up space.
Yeah.
Too. So we don't have to keep coming back to Abacus and saying we need more space. We need more space.
You look good right now. You still have at least over 600 gigabytes available.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
I want to get rid of these records.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right now, what is it? We've gotten rid of 2013 and 2014. I'm thinking next, well, obviously the following year, but
And we're just dealing with the low hanging fruit at this
right,
point.
yeah, first dealing with the easy to hard. Yeah.
Right.
And then whenever we're finished talking about that, I have a couple other questions related to Abacus.
Yeah, I think if you want to do that now, we do have that other meeting set for feedback, but feel free.
Okay, one of the things is, and it may be, I don't know why, when we can't use Teams on the cloud, like, so we're using Teams on the internet, but not on the cloud. And so if you want to deal with it, you have to go flipping back and forth. And I don't understand why we can't use Teams on the cloud. And is that an Abacus issue or is it something else?
You can. It's just the performance of it is not going to be that great. So we recommend to use it outside of the cloud.
Okay, so it's not something that's available right now. Are they ever going to fix it? Can we whine and say, Mr. Abacus?
Yeah.
I believe it has to deal with the amount of like bandwidth, like memory it takes, because it's
Okay.
how it's on video, and it's just like if multiple people are on YouTube on the cloud, it's going to take up a lot of memory because it's kind of a shared environment for the firm. So it's kind of like that where I imagine if you're the only one on it and there's not multiple people on the server at the same time, it could be okay, but it does take up a lot. So that's why I just recommended
Okay.
not
Okay.
to. So really, yeah, to have more than one monitor so you can kind of have your Abacus on one and then your Teams on the other.
Mm-hmm. Now, another thing is I have created a report to download. You know, you download it in comma, delimited, whatever
Mhm.
you call it, and convert it to Excel for notes, you know, by matter. And the problem is on a few of them, the notes don't always stay in the spreadsheet cells associated with the note. So you have to then go, okay, which one does this go with? And it's usually the one right above it, but it's like it's not in the same cell. And
Mhm.
I don't know why it's doing that. And if it could be remedied, I would jump up and down and send you a gold star.
Next time that happens, just
Uh-huh.
send the report directly to me.
Okay.
What happened and the name of the report, and then I'll have support look at it because it has happened on occasion. I'm not sure if it's the back end, how the tables are connected, where sometimes that happens if there's some kind of value that
Okay,
makes
because
that
see,
happen, but we can look
and
into it
I
deeper.
help some of the other divisions in our department with creating reports, and we created one for the securities division, you know, that has a different Abacus account than we do, and when I created it for them, it was the same thing, you know, so it wasn't
Mhm.
unique to ours, because I was wondering, well,
Right.
maybe it's because we've, you know, whatever. But yeah, I've got, in fact, I can generate a report and send it to you later this week. That would
Okay.
be
Yeah.
really nice.
Okay. Definitely. Yeah. And I'll definitely have the team look into what's going on in the back end that's causing that.
Okay. And I want to give one compliment to Abacus. Reaching out to Abacus for little problems that come up is so much better now than it was even a year ago. I'm in shock. It's,
Oh, good.
I'm you know, when I have a problem, I reach out and get knowledgeable people calling me back or, you know, whatever, and solve it real quick. And it's so much better than it used to be. I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. Is it anyone, or is it Abacus Private Cloud specifically, or Abacus Law, or just support in general?
Support in general.
Okay. All right. Good. Good.
It's just
Glad to hear
better.
that. I'm glad to hear that. I'll definitely pass the message over to management over there and support.
Great.
That's all
Well,
I had.
thank you. That's awesome. Well, thanks for this. Thanks for this meeting, Greg. And
Do we have Greg's email address?
It should be
yeah, I'll
on
connect.
it should be on the meeting invite,
Okay.
but I can also send an email after later.
Yeah,
later
go ahead
Okay,
and
great.
email all of us. Yeah. And that way, Elaine, you can forward your SOP on how
Yes.
you do that. Okay.
Be glad to.
Great. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
Look forward to hearing more, Greg.
Thank you. Nice to meet everybody.
Nice
All
to
Good
meet
one.
you.
Too.
Take
Have a
care.
great rest of the day.
You too.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Stop
Bye.
recording.
Oh, that'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
And